Are you ready for start time?
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Niner Sickness Podcast and the Niner Fanatic Podcast with my boy Pete. We got so much to talk about. As you already know, the quarterback carousel continues, and we have some interesting information just in case you were under a rock for the last few hours. We're going to get you out of that rock, and we're going to share some things. We're going to share our thoughts. But before we get started, Pete, how are you doing, sir?
Bro, I'm peachy. I'm cool. It's another day in Ninerland, and we're a step closer to real football. And yeah, I mean it is what it is. But I'm happy to be here talking 49er football with you, Beto. Because I know we're gonna talk some real stuff. How you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. I'm peachy as well. I'm excited to talk 49er football and start talking about the elephant in the room, which is Trey Lance. As you guys heard, Kyle made it not only public, not only to his coaches and teammates, but he made it publicly. He allowed it to leak out, and he said that Sam Darnold is QB2. And right now, as it stands, now QB3 belongs to either Trey or Allen, depending if there's a possible trade for Trey. And we're going to break that down in a few minutes. So I am great. I'm excited to have Wednesday football conversations with you, my friend. I missed you last week, and then the week before I couldn't do it. So it's been 2 weeks in between, man. So I'm excited to be back.
For sure.
Let's talk football.
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and acknowledge Jim is in the house. How you doing, Jim? We got Renee. Can you close the door with the birds? We got Luis Moreno in the house. What's up, Luis? We got Damien Lee in the house. What's up, Damien? We got my girl Maud Lopez. How you doing, Maud? We got Daniel Cantu in the house. How you doing, Daniel?
What's going on, Daniel?
And then we got a Facebook user. I need you to go to Restream/contact and let Facebook know who you are. Facebook does this every 3 or 6 months where they, security purposes, they want to hide your identity from us. Allow them to know, make it over to our YouTube channel, either Niner Sickness Podcast or Niner Fanatic Podcast, or both. And say hi to us. That way we can direct you by your first name. Who else do we have in here? We got Nathan Z in the house. What's up, Nathan? Welcome. We got Teresa in the house. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. So, oh my goodness. Pete, Parcast, welcome, Parcast. So, where were you at, and what were your initial thoughts when the news broke that Sam Darnold was going to be QB2?
I wasn't surprised. I had a show last night, and I kind of talked about if I'm giving grades to the preseason, like for the preseason between Darnold and Lance, I had them both about a C plus, B minus, and they like if you combine both games. So for me, and I had said this in prior shows, I felt Lance needed to knock their socks off to even just to get to QB2, and I don't think that happened. And I like Lance. I like Trey Lance a lot. Like I think he's a really good kid. And but the one thing that we've consistently said, and I'm not the only one that said it, that he needs time and he needs reps. So it got to a point to where he was going to his floor was not high enough. Like this is a Super Bowl like a team that's worthy of the Super Bowl. So it had to be they wanted somebody that would be set up for success. If something happens to Purdy, that would be able to go in there. They knew what they were getting, and like at the very least, the person could run the offense, and they didn't have to worry about any ups and downs and inconsistencies. So that's the way I saw it. I just thought that it was par for the course. I thought that when they brought Sam Darnold in, that they were kind of putting Trey on notice because this isn't his second year. This is, I mean, he was going into his third season, and I don't know how many guys get that long or how long we're supposed to wait, but it is what it is. But how did you feel about it, Beto?
Well, interesting. It's not a surprise to me either, Pete. If you're really a fan of football and you try to read between the tea leaves and try to listen to what Kyle is saying and what he's not really saying, and
Hmm.
John, um, we always knew that whether we want to agree with it or not, a lot of people want to accept it or not, Brock Purdy, based on what he did last year, earned the QB1 status. So it was going to be a competition for QB2 within Sam Donald and Trey Lance. Now, Trey Lance has been here 3 years, and unfortunately, he got hurt. Last year, the Niners gave him the keys of the car, if you will. They made him the starter. And unfortunately for him, the first game was a monsoon, couldn't really evaluate him. And then he started to play good against the Seattle Seahawks. And in the first series, he got hurt, and it was a season ending injury. And then here comes Jimmy, and then here comes Brock. After seeing what Brock did, he became QB1. And this offseason, people may not want to hear it. People don't care to hear it, especially if you're truly a Trey fan, supporter. Sam Darnold did play better than Trey. Trey looked undecisive, Pete. He looked like
Hmm.
he didn't know where to go with the ball, like he was thinking too much. And Sam Darnold played a little bit more loose, a little bit more free. And you got to understand, Sam Darnold doesn't know this offense as good as Trey does.
Hmm.
Now, I understand that the whole Trey came back on Saturday. Sorry for the background noise. I don't have my regular system, so my apologies. My dog and everything, you guys are going to hear everybody talk in the background besides me. But I know he got the comeback, and I understand he led the team to a field goal by Jake Moody to win the game. But you can't just go off of that, Pete. You
Hmm.
got to look at the film. You got to look at everything, practices, the momentum in practices. I know we got excited about Trey, you know, and everybody thought for sure Trey should be QB2. The 49ers felt otherwise. And I tend to trust Kyle. Now, I do hold Kyle to a standard. I do hold him to certain things, but I got to trust him that he's making the right decision. Again, it's not my career if this works. It's his career. If this blows up in his face, guess what? He's the one that's getting fired, not me. Don't you think that he knows, or at least he thinks he knows what he's doing, and he's kind of trying to go in the right direction the way he sees fit? All we can do is support what's going on. Support Brock as the backup, as the starter. Support Sam Donald as the backup, and we'll find out what happens with Trey. Will Trey be here as a third string, making $9 million, or will he be traded? to another team. Now, you shared something with me right before we went on the air, Pete. If you can care to share it again about about the tweet about Minnesota, share that with us for those that
So
haven't heard that.
So Benjamin Albright put out a tweet saying that uh, that he would not be surprised to see the Minnesota Vikings have a trade with the 49ers as far as like for Trey for a pass rusher from the Vikings, as well as a couple of pick swaps. And and somebody messaged him back like, that's weirdly specific, a specific example. And he said, oh yeah, it is kind of weird, isn't it? And that was it. So but it's kind of a cryptic tweet. I don't want to go on the out on a limb and say that this is exactly what's going to happen, but it wouldn't surprise me. Like, and this could be something that was in the works. We don't know. We don't know anything, and we're not going to be one of those people that goes out and just says, "Oh, sources said that this blah 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 blah." We're not doing that. Like but Benjamin Albright's pretty respected media member, and so I kind of he's brought out a lot of things that have actually happened. He's been right about a lot of things. So I wouldn't I take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. But we can't, even if a lot of things that people say may not be true, we can't really be blind to what is being said. People do
Exactly.
have contacts, people do have ways of hearing things much better than us. So I'm not saying to buy into things, I'm not saying to be sold on everything you hear, but be open minded. Be open minded. Listen, at this point, if you truly love Trey, I love Trey. I wanted Trey to be a 49er. Unfortunately, his time wasn't available for him for being hurt. This roster right now cannot afford for to develop him. They need someone they can win with now, and they feel
Mhm.
that Brock Purdy, whether it's the case or not, they feel that Brock Purdy is the quarterback they can win with now.
Mhm.
Trey, I would love to have Trey here. I would like to keep him here, but Trey deserves to play. He deserves reps. And if it's not going to be here, who knows, Pete? Maybe Trey went up to Kyle and said, "Hey, Kyle, how do you feel about me? What are my chances of really getting reps here?" And maybe Trey told Kyle, "You know what? If this is the case, why don't you trade me? Why don't you allow me to go somewhere that I can get some reps at that I have a better chance than I do here?" Who knows what the conversations were between him and Kyle? Only Kyle and Trey know, right? We don't even know if
Mhm.
Trey's going to be traded or not. But
Nope.
if he does get traded and he does go into a better situation, then good for Trey. Trey deserves it. He's a young man. He deserves to get his reps. Unfortunately, it won't be here, at least not for the beginning, because Brock is given the job now. Trey might be thinking, well, shit, quarterbacks don't last very long here. They get hurt. So maybe this is my best place to stay.
Yes.
Who knows? But the reality is that if Sam Darnold became quarterback two, then when is Trey really going to get an opportunity? Because if Brock gets hurt, then it's Sam. And I know last year we went through four quarterback speed, but I don't think that's going to happen every year. I
Yeah.
don't think we're going to be going through four or three quarterbacks every year. So even if we went to two quarterbacks, what does that mean for Trey? At this point, don't you think Trey deserves to go somewhere that he can get an opportunity to play?
I mean, I absolutely believe that Trey deserves to go somewhere and get some reps. Like I think he has too much physical talent he's too hard of a worker to not get that shot. And and I mean, this is the thing. He wasn't going to get it with the 49ers. I mean, that's just plain and simple. He wasn't going to get it for the 49ers because they've got Brock. And once Brock came in and played the way he did and won two playoff games, that was a wrap. That was a wrap. And now at best, Trey was going to be QB2. And now, but then they bring in Sam Darnold, and that just kind of muddied the waters even more. Trey literally had to play out of his mind to get in front of he had to play he was going to have to play really well to get in front of QB and in front of Sam Darnold, and that just it didn't materialize that way. But the true culprit in all this stuff that's going on, and everybody's so angry about it. The true culprit is injuries. The true culprit in all of this is injuries, because if Trey doesn't get hurt his rookie season, they had said that they wanted to start him that year. He was out playing. They were thinking about starting him his rookie year, and then he got hurt. Then like they're ready to live or die with him. His second year, he got hurt again. If he doesn't get hurt his second year, then at worst that could happen is they pull him eventually, probably like 5 or 6 games in for Jimmy Garoppolo. And if Jimmy Garoppolo sucks or get hurt, what do you think they're going to do? They're not going to Brock Purdy. They're going to go back to Trey. If he doesn't get hurt, we never even see Brock Purdy, and it never becomes a thing. But the real culprit in all of this is injuries. I know that we want to blame Kyle, we want to blame the organization, but I don't see it. I don't see it as being their fault per se. This is the NFL, which means not for long. And you've got to strike while the iron is hot. Brock Purdy did that. Brock Purdy struck while the iron was hot, and now he's the starting quarterback for the 49ers, and Trey is on the trading block per who we as far as we know. So that's all. I just think that it's unfortunate for Trey, but I mean, if we really look at the history of the NFL, this is an unprecedented situation, and it's just I don't think that anybody can expect a guy going into his third year, still needing reps, still needing, regardless of if it's fair or not, he still needs reps. He still needs to build up his confidence in the offense. Going into his third season, I don't know many teams that would continue to keep going. And at some point, you're going to have to cut bait, especially when you've got a Super Bowl worthy roster.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you. Um, Listen, Brock Purdy, Sam Donald, Brandon Allen, Trey Lance, they're all competing for one position. They're all competitors. They all love football. They all want to play football. Yes, we gave up supposedly 3 number 1s to go and get Trey as an
Mm-hmm.
organization. But do you think Brock cares about how much they gave for Trey? Brock comes in here and he's trying to make the team first and foremost. Then
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to play football. He's not trying to be vicious. He's not trying to be an ass and trying to take away nobody's job. He is trying to do his best opportunity to when the time presents itself, which it did last year,
Mm-hmm.
for him to prove that what he can do. Now, people can be mad at Brock all they want, but Brock did what any person would do in a profession. When your number is called, make the best out of that opportunity. And there should be no hatred towards Brock. Now, you may not agree with the way the organization might have handled this situation. It's not fair to Trey, but let's be real, ladies and gentlemen. Life isn't fair.
Yeah, it's not. There's no
Life
such thing.
always no, life is always throwing curveballs, and we have to make adjustments. If it would have been the other way around, where let's say Brock was the starting quarterback and he got hurt, and Trey came in and Trey took advantage of his opportunity and he took over the role, I will be supporting Trey because Trey is doing what he's supposed to do. Unfortunately, because we gave up so much for Trey and not so much for Brock, people tend to want to support Trey. I just want to answer two questions real quick before we move. My girl here, Mary Fisk, welcome to the channel. By the way, she's a huge Vikings fan,
Oh,
but she
okay.
comes into my show and supports my channel as I support theirs as well. She says that the Trey is being discussed in Minnesota about the possibility of trading for him.
Yeah.
He is from Minnesota, so that could be a possibility. She said this is being discussed by the Vikings. And then I wanted to make a point real quick, and I just want to welcome Joe to the stream. Now he says they are angry because I'm assuming for those who support Trey because they bought Trey Lance jersey. I don't know if that's why they're angry, but
Yeah.
I just want to correct this. There's no way that anybody can convince me. I can only speak for myself that Trey Lance is a bust.
Yeah. He's not a bust.
Nobody can. It is too early. We don't know if he will be, but in 4 games, it's too early to tell whether he's a bust. They're not moving on from Trey because they consider him a bust. They're moving on for Trey because a quarterback that was taken in the 7th round showed Kyle, I can run your offense and I can run it well.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why Kyle says, listen, we believe in Trey. We believe in Trey in the long term. He can be a great quarterback. But Brock has showed us as an organization we can win with him now. They don't have the luxury with this roster, with Trent Williams getting older every year, to sit and develop Trey. That opportunity came and went when Trey got hurt last year. So is he a bust? No. Could he be? Maybe. But to consider him a bust today on August 23rd of 2023, no way in hell is he a bust.
Yeah.
He hasn't had enough reps. So I'm sorry, Joe. I don't agree with the bust claim. Maybe they're mad because of the jersey. That's yeah, well, I'll give you 50-50. But on the bus, I just can't believe he's a bust, bro, by any shape or form. I would like your opinion on that thought.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely not a bust. Like, I mean, this is the thing. If he could get reps somewhere, and see, this is the only thing that gives me pause about Minnesota is that he's going to be sitting behind. He's going to be sitting behind Cousins in Minnesota, like who doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, but for 1 year, because he'll be out of there next year.
Yeah, I could see that, and but then you're definitely like, but then you're in your fourth. You're going to be in your fourth season, like and you're still gonna need a ton of reps, and and it could still happen, but I think wherever he goes, he needs to get time, and he needs a team that is going to invest heavily in just letting him letting him learn and letting him get comfortable, because right now to me he just isn't completely comfortable. Even when he looks comfortable, it's almost like he's just going through the motions, and it's just I've like I just think that he just needs time, and like this is a kid that's only played really one full season of college ball and hasn't played but what 4 games in the pros. He just needs time. He needs time, but I can't call him a bust because we haven't given him a fair chance. And and once again, we go back to that word fair. But I do want to speak on that. Like, there is no such thing as fair in the NFL. If everybody talked about fair, do you think Jimmy Ward thought it was? Think it was? Do you think he thought it was fair that he lost his job to Sean Gibson last year? Like, no, he didn't think it was fair. There's a whole bunch of people that in this league that don't think it's fair that they lost their job for multiple reasons. But that's the NFL. Like, it stands for not for long. And you're only as good as your last game, as your last outing. When they find somebody, if you get hurt and they find somebody that runs the offense, that runs the offense better than you, your odds are you're probably on the chopping block. And I know that I like Trey Lance too. But at the same time, I really liked how Brock Purdy played last year, and I can't say that I'm really. I'm hurt for Trey, but I'm not really. I think that they have a good process in place. And I don't have any problem with Darnold being the backup. Like, he's a backup. We're not talking about
Yep.
him being the starter. He's the backup. So, and I don't mind having him be the backup in a Kyle Shanahan offense.
Exactly. This is what I think, Pete, and this is just me. Um, I don't know if they're going to trade him by Friday or trade him in the next week or so. I think right now teams are. Brad made a good point a minute ago. Where's Brad at? Brad, where are you, Brad? Welcome to the channel. He's talking about, and I want to clarify on this. He says, where could he go right now? Which team can he go to? Every team right now is set at quarterback, or at least they're working. They're going through the process of trying to figure out the quarterback. Now, I think the Niners keep Trey as that third backup, as that third quarterback to back up Sam Donald and Brock because of the history that we go through quarterbacks. But if a team out there loses their starting quarterback, right now Trey has no value. Teams are not going to pay a ransom for Trey.
Mm-hmm.
But if a team loses, like Minnesota, if they lose out on Cousins, he does get hurt, or the team loses on another quarterback, at that point, now the Niners may have leverage and may able to work something for Trey, and Trey
Mm-hmm.
might want to go to that team. So I don't think there's any hurry for the Niners to get rid of Trey. I know that $9 million is
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
agree.
money, but I think the Niners can afford to keep him because of our history. We
Mm-hmm.
go through quarterbacks. Why not keep him on there? He knows the roster. Why not keep him on there?
Wouldn't
And
be that?
if a
Wouldn't that be
team,
some stuff? Wouldn't that be some stuff if they somehow ended up having to use him? Like,
yeah, or either use him or somebody loses a quarterback and they're willing to give us something that team would not normally give us for Trey, and
yeah,
Trey has a better situation there. Things seem to work out. At this point, I want the best for Trey. It's unfortunate the way things have been dealt for Trey, but I don't want to punish Brock either.
mm-hmm.
Brock has nothing to do with the misfortunes of Trey. Brock came in, proved himself, played well. I understand that he's an unproven commodity still. People would like to say. I understand he hasn't the strongest arm, or he's not the tallest uh, quarterback. But and again, when I say this with caution. I'm not saying he's Drew Brees. Okay, so don't be like, well, Beto said no. I said Drew Brees wasn't tall, same height, didn't have a strong arm either. Tom Brady didn't have a strong arm. He developed that as years went by. Brock would develop that strength as years go by. But you can't deny his ability to read the field. You can't deny his ability to feel comfortable and calm in the pocket. He doesn't allow the big stage to get to him. He's not easily scared. He stands in the pocket regardless if a player's coming right at him, and he's going to get
Mm-hmm.
the ball to his best player. With this roster, Pete, with the Debos, the Kittles, the Ayuks, the CMCs, the Jawan Jennings, we don't have to put it all on Brock. All Brock has to do is not lose the game for us, and we can win games, especially with this defense. So, can we win a championship in a Super Bowl with Brock? Why not? We don't need a Patrick Mahomes. Would I love to have a Patrick Mahomes? Absolutely. But
Yeah,
we don't need a Patrick Mahomes with this type of roster. We just need a quarterback that can get the ball into the playmaker's hand fast enough and make the right decisions, Pete.
yeah, I agree, and I'm thinking of another set. So when Trey first took over, people made a big stink about them re-signing Jimmy Garoppolo. And everybody said they can't keep they can't keep Jimmy Garoppolo on the roster. He shouldn't be on the roster because it doesn't show confidence in Trey. Does anybody remember all the people that said that? Like and then but they're not having the same energy for Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is the QB1 now. And he's been the QB1. Like if you were paying attention, he's been the QB1. And so it's like if you thought that they were going to keep a guy with upside that could potentially take over for Brock Purdy, like why would if you wanted them to do because I think this is what they wanted. Everybody wanted the 49ers to do with Jimmy Garoppolo, which is, you know, put him on the back burner. If you can trade him, trade him. So why would they not want to do that for Brock Purdy after they've identified he's going to be the QB1? And they're keeping Sam Darnold, who really isn't a threat to Brock Purdy. And that's I think that we're not thinking far enough into this situation. Because people are like, well, why would you want to keep Darnold as QB2? What has he done to show that he could be QB2? I mean, Kyle has shown you over and over again what he can do with less than stellar quarterbacks. He's shown you over and over again. But I would say that Sam Darnold has a lot of physical talent that Kyle hasn't had on the squad other than Trey Lance, except Sam Darnold's played a lot of games. And so it's a little bit different of a situation for him. But I think him as a backup is a good situation for the 49ers. Just because you have somebody with that pro experience, no matter how bad he played on other teams with bad coaches and bad players, he doesn't have that now. He has good coaching and he has good players. So he hasn't showed that
Exactly.
he's terrible. He hasn't showed that he's terrible in these preseason games. I mean, the couple of interceptions that he had bounced off of somebody's hands. So I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, he hasn't been a superstar, but we don't want him to be a superstar because
Yep.
we have Brock. So I think I think that the 49ers are right on course. I think that we need I saw a comment about Bosa in the chat. I think that we can start kind of moving this QB situation on over to the Bosa situation now. And I think that the 49ers have some kind of a direction now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just want to touch up real quick, and I'm going to get back to the Purdy real fast. But the Bosa situation, I think it's getting closer
Mhm.
than what people think. I think they just wanted to get this whole quarterback situation out of the way.
Yep.
I believe they already came to an agreement. Um, the fact that Bosa flew from Florida, where he was at, where his family lives, to New York, where his agent is an indication that they're getting closer to signing the contract. Because if they were really far apart from a contract signing, why
Yeah.
in the hell would Bosa go to New York? He would remain in Florida. The fact that he's in New York with his agent is because they're getting closer, if not already signed that contract. And maybe the Niners just told him, okay, we are signed and delivered, but we're not going to let the media know until, let's say, Friday that you're signed. That can happen. So I'm not concerned. The Niners have a great record in demonstrating that if they covet a player, if they love a player, if they think the player is good on the field and off the field, they will pay them.
Mhm.
Now, the Fred Warner, the Kittle, the Debo Samuel, those were taken care of. But this is going to be the biggest and the most paid player in 49er history. This contract, there's no player up to this point, once Bosa signs, that has gotten a contract like this. So be patient. It's not like a
Mhm.
Bosa. I mean, excuse me, it's not like a Debo, a 3 year situation. It's not like a Fred Warner. They're trying to maybe figure out 5 years compared to 4 years. They're
Yeah.
working things out
It
with
could be
Bosa.
longer. Could be
It could be
longer.
longer. Yeah, it could be 6 years. Now, Bosa may want to. Bosa wants to be here, and the Niners want him here. Whenever you have someone that wants to be here and someone that wants you here, come on, it's not
Yeah.
hard to put it together. They're just working out small details. They both want to be here. The
Yeah.
Niners want him here, and Bosa wants to be here, but they're working out details. Maybe you're right. Maybe they get him for 6 years to kind of give him that 35 that he might want and
Yeah.
make it worth the Niners. And they're trying to work on, like, if he gets hurt, maybe trades, no trades. Those are the things they're trying to work out. And let's be
Yeah.
honest, he's a defensive end. Does he need to be in practice? Probably not. Maybe the chances of him getting hurt are less now that he's not playing a preseason game, or he's never played in a preseason game anyway.
That's what I was going
Since
to
he's
say.
been
He
here,
never plays in the preseason, so people that are worried about him playing in the preseason, that it doesn't matter.
and he's such a good player that I can guarantee you he can show up the day before the Steelers game and probably be the best player on that defense. That's Bosa's training. He's not sitting out eating popcorn. This guy knows how to work. Have you seen his body?
Yeah.
Uh, he works out.
Pause.
He's not sitting. Yeah, he's not sitting there looking like me. All right, he's sitting there. Don't be laughing over there, my wife. But he's
No
looking like
mames.
Bosa. He's working. No mames. See my boy Pete. You know what I mean? He's working out. He's keeping tabs. So I'm not worried about Bosa whatsoever. What's up, Terradome? Welcome. I just want to recognize Terradome. I want to recognize Fernie. Leo Gonzalez is in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Please make sure to subscribe to both of our channels. My channel, if you're watching through my channel, please go make your way over to Niner Fanatic Podcast. Subscribe to him. If you're watching on his channel, when you get a chance, come over to my channel and subscribe. You don't have to watch it on my channel all the time, but it's nice to be subscribed to both channels. We both bring different perspectives to our channels. Not only
Absolutely.
that, if you're on your computer, you can always have two tabs open. You can like my channel, you can like Pete's channel, and give us both a like. We would appreciate that very, very much.
Absolutely.
We have Jess from East Coast Red and Gold on here. They had a great show.
What up, Jess?
They had a wonderful show. Great topics as well. Make sure to follow her. Let me make sure I'm not missing on anybody else.
We got another Viking.
If I miss some of your comments, I apologize ahead of time. Now, the best way not to miss out on a comment is if you want to do a super chat, guaranteed to get your comment on the screen. So don't be afraid to throw those super chats. But I do bring comments on as well. But don't be mad if I don't see your comment. And I might skip it. So Fernie says replying to Jimmy G doesn't really have faith in either of them. Okay, they're talking to Trey or Sam. Right now, Brock is the starter. Brock is the starter. Listen, we may not see neither Trey. Ideally, I don't want to see Trey or Sam. That means Brock is playing good and he's not hurt. That is ideally what I want for the Niners. I want Brock. And if Trey was the starter, I would say the same thing. If Trey was named the starter, I would say I don't want to see Brock nor Sam. I want to see Trey the whole year. I just want to see whoever the starter is, for those that still believe it's going to be Trey, to start and finish the whole year of 2023 and get better as games go by. And if that's Trey, so be it. If that's Sam, so be it. If it's Brock, as a lot of us believe it is, I would wish him to start and finish. That means that's good for us, right? If he's playing well and he's not hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it's the plan is for Brock to play the whole season all the way through to the Super Bowl, and then we raise the Lombardi Trophy again. Like, that's the goal. That's the goal. All this QB2, QB3 stuff is secondary at best. And I know that we get so caught up in and it's impossible to get away from it, because all the national guys are talking about how much of a disaster of a trade it is, even though they gave up those picks. Guess where the 49ers were last year? They were in the NFC Championship game. Guess where they were the year before that? They were in the NFC Championship game. Like their team, like I heard somebody actually say, and I'm not going to even put their name out there, but I heard somebody say that this team isn't deep and that there's no way that and this is a 49er fan. said that this team is top heavy and that they're not probably not going to win the Super Bowl. But this is a fan, and and I just don't understand how these situations happen. They happen, and they happen for all teams, but how they happen, and it just completely makes you give up on the team. The team is what we cheer on. Like if you're here for one player that's only played 4 games, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like I don't know what to tell you. But I just think that this team is incredibly deep. They may not be the deepest at offensive line, but guess what? No one in the league is deep at offensive line. No one.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and most teams don't even have a good offensive line, let alone deep at the offensive line. So I know, and then I think people are thinking that we're not as deep at defensive line. You watch when Bosa gets on this field for the 49ers, and you've got Javon Hargrave, and you've got Eric Armstead, and Drake Jackson flashes. And then we start talking about all of a sudden those same people that said this team wasn't deep, are going to be the same people that get back on the mic and say how great of a team and that we're going all the way. They're about, people are just flip flopping, and it's sad to see, but it's par for the course because yeah, it's it just comes down to sometimes we're as fans we can be spoiled brats. We've
Yeah.
been to the NFC Championship game for the last 3 out of 4 years, and we get spoiled by our own success, and now we want more. We want the trophy, and they get so frustrated that we haven't gotten the trophy that we're willing to we're willing to throw out the baby with the bathwater, and and you just cannot do that. You have to stay the course. I think that a lot of teams out there would love to have the success that the 49ers have had and to have this roster. So just stay tuned, guys. This season is going to be good. It's going to be a good season. I can feel it.
Real quick, I just want to. There was a comment that was brought up by let's see here, David Villa, um, and he says, "Are you going to do any more patch giveaways, Beto? I want one for my connection." Because you asked so nicely, I will do a patch giveaway tonight. So everyone stay tuned. Right before we end the show, we will have my boy Pete pick a number. Uh, I'm going to have you guys pick a number in the comments. Not right now. Not right now. I'll let you know when. And then I'll have Pete pick a number. Or I'll have my wife pick a number so she's not even looking at the screen. So she'll just pick a random number. And you'll know that that person wins the patch. We'll figure it out. But I will do a patch giveaway because David asked so nicely. Um, let's see here. I got my boy Dave is in the house. He's a Vikings fan as well. Welcome. We got my boy David Corona in the house. How you doing, sir?
Absolutely.
Let's see. So, listen. Um, we got my boy John in the house. How you doing, John? Welcome,
What's going
welcome,
on,
welcome
John?
to the channel. So I'm with you. Listen. At the end of the day, I just want the best a player to play at their position that gives us an opportunity to win. Listen, I understand a lot of people want a Super Bowl. So do I. I want the sixth Super Bowl. It's been a long time since we hosted the Lombardi Trophy. It has been. I understand a lot of you guys that are in your early 20s, in your late 20s, have never seen a Super Bowl live.
Hmm.
Only the ones that we've seen. Me and Pete, we've been uh, honored to watch those games, privileged to watch those Super Bowls and enjoy them on TV. I understand you guys want it, but we can't exclude that the Niners have been relevant year in and year out. We cannot overlook that the Niners have been to the NFC Championship 3 out of the 4 years of the Niners
Hmm.
that Kyle's been here. And I say 4. I know it's been 6, But listen, Kyle took over a team that kept 3 players from the original regime, which was Saleh, Jimmy Ward, and was it Armstead or Joe Staley? One of them, but I know it was 3. And he had to replace everybody. They went into the draft. They brought some free agents. They did not take over a team like Harbaugh. Harbaugh came in, took over a team. It was great, just mismanaged and won games. Shanahan, for the first 2 years, he had to develop and build a team. In the last 4 years, he's been to 3 NFC championships and 1 Super Bowl appearance. I understand, Pete, and I understand everybody watching. We haven't won a Super Bowl. We won a Super Bowl. But the fact that I keep hearing the idiotic statement that we got to fire Kyle because he hasn't won a Super Bowl is idiotic. Sorry if I offend you, but it's stupid. You don't have to win a Super Bowl to be a great coach.
Yeah.
It helps to add to your resume. I'm going to ask you, Pete.
Yeah.
Martin Levy. You know who he is?
Oh, yeah.
He's a head coach.
For the
He
Bills.
was a head coach for the Bills. Great coach, Hall of Fame coach, right? How many Super Bowls did he win?
Absolutely 0.
But does that make him a bad coach?
No, he went to 4 straight. He went to 4 straight Super Bowls, and I don't know if anybody knows how hard that is. Like that is like really.
They see
really
that they
hard.
lost 4, but they don't see how. They only see that they lost 4. People do, but they don't see how hard it is to get to those 4. You know that out of all the Super Bowls that have been played to this date, only 35 coaches have won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's crazy low number, right?
That's a low number. So that means not every great coach wins a Super Bowl. You know how hard it is to win a Super Bowl, but it doesn't mean your team sucks. And people are like, but I'm just tired of getting to the end. Well, listen, in order to get on the dance floor, you have to go to the dance first. If you're not even invited to the dance, you're not even getting on the dance floor. The Cleveland Browns, what were their chances of making the Super Bowl last year?
0.
Since they didn't make the playoffs.
0.
If you don't make the playoffs, you're not. What were the Niners' chances?
Yeah. All you can ask for a team.
Come on.
All you can ask for your team is to get you to the playoffs. And like once you get to the playoffs, it's all about matchups. It's all about the matchup that you have because they're all good teams at that point. And now it's all about your matchup and do you match up well against that next team in the playoffs? That's really what because they're all good teams at that point. Once you get to that Final Four, like it's we're these are the 4 best teams in the league out of 32. So just count yourself like blessed that you're in the position, and then at that time, and hopefully you get to the Super Bowl. Absolutely, but to think that some of these coaches can just they've got to will their team to the Super Bowl. That's not the way it works. They've got to play the game, and they can't play they can't play the game for the team. The team's got to beat them. And there's unfortunate situations that happen. But yeah.
You know how much luck it takes to win a Super Bowl too? Not just skills, not a great coach only, not a great roster, but luck. Because we had a great roster last year. Purdy was on fire. We were averaging 30-plus points a game. And we went to Philly and Purdy got hurt. Bad luck for us, good luck for the Eagles.
Yep.
Okay, when we lost to the Kansas City Chiefs in 2019, yes, the whole Jimmy overthrew Emmanuel Sanders. Yes, the Niners let a ball. The defense allowed a ball deep to Tariq Hill. But what people fail to realize on that particular 45-yard bomb that was completed to Hill, Bosa was held, and they didn't call it. The referees were not calling penalties on the Niners.
And then they called the push-off on Kittle.
Yes, that's luck. Bad luck for the Niners because if that call would have been made on Bosa, we would have got a first down for a holding, right? Yep. So and that 50 or 40 or whatever it was completion wouldn't have been made. Because if I remember correctly, Pete, that was the turning point in that Super Bowl. We were kicking the shit out of Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
All 4 quarters. But that turned it around. And it's luck. So the Rams, when we played them in the NFC Championship. The Niners were winning that game. If listen, we lost. How many points did we lose to the Rams? Real quick.
I don't remember
If you
how
don't
many.
remember, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Three.
I just was
Three
so
points.
dejected by like that I
Yeah.
was yeah, like it wasn't by much
Three.
because
No,
yeah, I
no. 3 points.
remember yeah.
No, Chris, you just finish on my point. You can add to it, Pete.
Yeah.
3 points. If Tart, when he dropped the ball, that same series that he dropped the ball, did not capitalize on that turnover, the Rams went on and scored a touchdown. At the very least, that touchdown would have not been there. It would have been gone because we intercepted the ball.
Yeah.
Even if we didn't score a touchdown, we would have only scored a field goal. That would have been 3. -7 that they score, 3 points that we scored, that's 10 points difference. We lost by 3. The Rams were lucky that Tart, nobody around Tart, the ball could have just been placed on his hands. He drops it. Tell me that's not luck or bad luck.
Yeah.
The Rams had good luck. And then that year, Cincinnati had a terrible O-line. Our defense would have killed that offensive line. We would have had our 6th Lombardi trophy.
We had already
with
beaten
Kyle.
him. We'd already beaten him earlier this season. And like
So
not
don't
that
give me
means
that
anything.
Kyle can't win the big one.
Yeah.
It's luck.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and add to that, bro. It's ridiculous that they blame Kyle and that he's not a good coach because he hasn't won it yet.
And look, this is the thing. It's easy. Everybody wants to blame something. Everybody needs to blame something because they just need somebody to blame why they're not getting what they want. And that's why I call that's why I made my comment earlier about spoiled brats. Like sometimes us as fans, we get to be spoiled brats, especially when we root for a team that wins on a regular basis. Is that we become spoiled. Now, if we don't get what we want, if we don't get the quarterback that we want, if we don't get the Lombardi trophy that we want, if we don't get everything that we want, we're ready to throw a tantrum and start kicking and screaming about, oh, this guy needs to be fired, or this guy needs to we got to hold the one that my favorite one is, he's got to be held accountable. Who are you? Are you his boss? Who are you holding accountable? And what does that look like? I just wonder what that looks like. What does it look like to hold Kyle Shanahan accountable by the fans? What, are you going to stop going to games? Like, I just wonder what that looks like, because it's those are empty statements. Those are just empty statements that don't really have any weight, because at the end of the day, Kyle's going to keep winning games. We're going to be talking about the same thing at the end of the season unless they win the Super Bowl, and then we'll have the same conversation the next year. Like it's rinse and repeat. And like but you don't have to be like me. But I choose to just root for my team. I want the team to do well. I'm going to root on Brock Purdy because he's the starting quarterback. It's unfortunate what happened to Lance, but at the same time, it is what it is. It's business. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on now, and we're going to cheer on if Sam Darnold ends up going in there. I'm going to cheer on Sam Darnold, and and that's just the way it goes. Trey Lance doesn't know y'all from Adam. He doesn't know who any of y'all are. And so all this caping for Trey Lance is just like, okay. I mean, if it had been anybody else, if it had been that Brock Purdy that had lost his opportunity to Trey Lance, y'all wouldn't have cared. But because it's Trey Lance, all of a sudden we care. Like it's unfair, and we're talking about fairness. But that's all. It's just we're 49er fans. We're 49er fans. Enjoy your team. Enjoy that you have a good team and you have a really good coach that tons of teams would line up the minute he was fired, he'd have another job.
Tell me about it.
So
he will not be unemployed, not even an hour.
Not even an hour. Somebody would have signed him.
And that's being nice.
And they would start winning.
Listen. Yep. And When we fired Harbaugh, did you forget about the Jim Tunsula and the Chip Kellys
Yeah.
of the world?
And people wanting
How did
Harbaugh.
that go?
People wanting Harbaugh
Yeah,
seem to forget. They seem to forget that Harbaugh's last season. What was our record his last season?
it was bad. It was 8 and 9, or
Yeah, something like that. It
it
was,
was
but it was
it
not
was a
good.
losing season.
Yeah, it
No,
was not good. And like the offense under Harbaugh was never good. It
nope.
was never good. Yeah, we won games because the defense and the running game. But look at the offensive statistics for the Harbaugh years. But people are already saying, "I want a real coach. I want Harbaugh." What has Harbaugh won? Like, what has he
Yep.
won? Nothing. Nothing. He hasn't won anything. He hasn't won anything in Michigan, and I'm a Michigan fan. But he hasn't won anything at Michigan or the 49ers. So what is the difference? Why are you wanting him instead of and they're, oh well, he brought in Kaepernick and like all the other stuff. Okay, well, he had, just like he just mentioned, he had a losing record with Kaepernick, and Kaepernick did not have a good season his last season with Harbaugh. So just chill. I think people were like, need to remember those. Stop thinking, having revisionist history about those years, and think about actually what you're asking for.
Exactly, Pete. And you're going to be called a moron for that point. I'm going to be called a moron because people do not agree with us. Listen, it's okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. People can call us whatever they want because we say that narrative and we're not spilling out what you want to hear. All I know is this: in order to get a chance to go to the Super Bowl, you have to be competitive. You got to
Mm-hmm.
be good. You have to have a good roster. We have a good roster. We have a good coach, and we have an owner that doesn't interfere and allows his coach and his GM to run the ship. We're eventually going to cross over. If we keep on knocking, we're going to cross and we're going to
Mm-hmm.
get a Super Bowl ring. Got to be patient. I know you want it now. You want it now. And I understand your frustration, but we're going to get there. As long as our team is competitive, listen, all the outside media that you guys don't care about to hear, they all have one thing in common. They say this. They're always saying that the Niners have a great chance of winning the Super Bowl this year without a quarterback. We're always arguing about how we don't have a quarterback, but yet our team is one of the teams they're talking about winning the Super Bowl without a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So to that point is uh, Kyle can win with any quarterback as long as we have the defense, the run game, and the playmakers. We can win. And Brock Purdy, we have to see a whole year, but I believe this kid is smart. I think this kid is going to only get better, and I think this kid can be the missing link for winning that Super Bowl. Is he ever going to be a Patrick Mahomes? No.
No, but they think he's
But if we
special.
win a Super Bowl, and we're competitive every year, that's all we need. It's nice to have a Patrick Mahomes. It's nice to have a Joe Burrow. It's nice to have a Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a great quarterback. How many Super Bowls has he won?
None.
Joe Burrow has been to a Super Bowl. He hasn't won one, but
None.
he's better than Brock. All I'm saying is don't focus on other teams, what they have. You know, the saying goes, we don't appreciate what we have because we're looking at what we don't have.
Yeah.
Appreciate what we have. We have a great roster, a great GM, one hell of a coach, and we have a team, an owner that's willing to pay to bring in a player like Hargrave to make this
Mm-hmm.
team better. Appreciate what we have. We will eventually cross the line. Hopefully, it'll be this year. But at least I have a team to root for. Do you honestly believe, Pete? And I'm trying to think of a team that sucks right now. Give me a team that sucks right now. And I'm not
Uh,
trying to be an ass, but I'm.
yeah.
Uh, give,
Well, the Rams.
okay, the Rams. Yeah, that's a perfect example. The Rams. Well, pick another team because the Rams won a Super Bowl
Oh,
a couple 2 years
Arizona.
ago. Okay, Arizona. Do you think that the Arizona fans are looking at this season like Super Bowl or bust? Man, we
No.
have a chance to win the Super Bowl. Do you think the Super Bowl idea is any hope for them? It's a myth. It's
Yeah.
not real for them. But for us, Niner fans, because of the roster, because of the coaching, and because of the way this team has been put together, even with a quarterback like Brock, we have hope to make it to the Super Bowl. The Cardinal fans will give anything to be in that shoes. Don't overlook what you have because you're looking at what you don't have. Be
Hmm.
patient.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Be
There's no,
patient,
yeah,
and we'll
there's
have
no reason to go off the deep end. Like this is sports. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. Like we're to enjoy that you have a good team that is going to win games. We know that the 49ers are going to win games. They have a good team. And so just enjoy it. Like don't look too far into the future. Just like the players and the coaches say all the time, just take it one game at a time. One game at a time, and let's just keep stacking wins. And then when we get to the playoffs, then it's about those matchups and what and who we're playing and how we match up against those teams. That's really what football is all about. And I think if we just if and I'm not asking you to think of football the way that I do. Everybody loves football in a different way. But I'm just giving you the way that I enjoy football, and I think that this, if you allow it to happen, you could really enjoy this team. I think there's going to be a lot to like.
exactly. And I know David McNair made a comment that I kind of agree, and then I kind of thought you don't agree. He says that it's either Super Bowl or bust. I understand the ultimate goal
Hmm.
is to win a Super Bowl. That's what every team does what they do. That's why they sacrifice their bodies, they sacrifice their day to win that championship. But if you make it to the NFC champion and you played a good game, you just got outplayed by the other team. I don't think you're a bust. I don't
Hmm.
think our team is a bust if we lose in the NFC championship and we played well. Ultimately, now we fell short of our goal of not winning the Super Bowl, but I don't know if we're a bust. We're
Hmm.
not trash. We're competitive.
Yep.
The Cardinals, again, no disrespect to the Cardinals, but they're a bust
Yes.
because they're not even
Every
going to make the
season.
playoff. We're not a bust. We're a good team that has fallen short, unfortunately. And today, every dog has their day. Maybe we're that dog this year.
Yep.
And maybe all the stars line up and we have the best of luck and we win it all. Maybe none of our players get hurt. I think
Yep.
it's luck is time to be positive on our side. But with P, and we're going to be ending this show, and it's been a great show. Listen, enjoy week 1, enjoy week 2, brag about week 3, brag about week 4, enjoy the win, and kind of try to get over the loss if we have a loss. Before you know it, we'll be in the playoff.
Hmm.
And then enjoy that playoff game. And before you know it, we're going to be all excited that we're in the Super Bowl. Take it one game at a time. Don't look too
One
far
game.
ahead because you're only going to disappoint yourself looking too far ahead. Take it one day at a time. Enjoy the victories and stack them up. Like players stack up days, let's stack up wins and let's be positive and let's have fun because at the end of the day, as much as we want our team to win, it's a hobby for us. It's
Yeah.
a business for the team. There's a business for the players, but for us fans, it's just a hobby. I seen fans get heart attacks. I see fans go to jail. I see fans
Yeah.
beat each other up for a sport that they're never going to host the Lombardi Trophy.
Hmm.
They're never going to get paid. Jed York is never going to send you a letter saying, "Hey, I like the way you kicked so and so's ass the other day in the stadium. I'm going to make you a fan of the year." They don't acknowledge what's an acknowledge is the Santa Clara Police Department. So take it one day at a time. Don't let it stress you out. Have fun. Be objective. You can criticize all you want. You deserve to criticize the players and the coaches based on what they don't do right
Yep.
because you are a paying fan for games. You buy the jerseys. You can criticize, but don't be naive also in the good things they do.
Hmm.
Don't wish Kyle to be fired. Because I'm telling you, if we lose Kyle and we go 10 years without a good coach, People are going to regret it. We got blessed that we lost Harbaugh, and we were able to get Kyle only 2 years later.
Yeah.
Imagine if we never got Kyle. Where would we be today? We would not be talking about Brock. We would not be talking about Trey. You know what we'd be talking about, Pete?
Yeah.
Damn it, can we win at least 3 games?
Yeah.
Can we win at least 4? It's all about perspective. So enjoy that this team is good. Pump your chest out and say, I support the red and gold, baby. We are a good
Absolutely.
team. And before you know it, we'll be hosting that Lombardi Trophy, and we'll be having a parade in San Francisco. With that said, do you have anything going on your channel this week, brother?
I have. I'm gonna do another show on. We have our last game this Friday. Correct. Is it Friday?
Sorry, I was muted. Friday, yes.
Yeah,
it will be our last game.
Our last preseason game on Friday. So I'll be doing an immediate reaction show. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do a pregame because I have to work, but I will be doing a game on a like instant reaction show after the game. So yeah, I might do another small show before either tomorrow or Friday, but for sure I'm going to do a show after the game. And for everybody out there that doesn't know, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm anywhere where you can get your audio podcast, Niner Fanatic Podcast. I don't care where you get it, just get it.
And if you don't know, if you forget what he just said about his links, they're in the description below. Just look for his name, click on it, and it gets you straight there. Real easy. Listen, you have to go through all mine first, and then you'll see his at the bottom. Real quick, what was I going to say? Enjoy the rest of the day, guys. Enjoy football. Thank you for supporting the Niners podcast.
Absolutely.
Thank you for supporting. You know what? I put the wrong. Okay, I'll talk to you a little bit after the show, Pete. But thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for supporting Pete. Make sure to like and subscribe to his channel. Thank you for supporting. We have 20 deep. You guys are awesome.
Chat was rocking. Like, I appreciate you guys.
It was rocking. Sorry I didn't get to all the comments, but I tried to bring him up as the best I could. But you guys are amazing. For me on my show, we're going to have a show with Jess from East Coast Red and Gold. On Fridays, we have a show at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. So make sure to follow us then. And we apologize for the time confusion today. Pete is 2 hours ahead of me.
Yeah.
He said a certain time. I didn't think about the 2 hours. He forgot.
I thought I was talking to my wife, and
and I forgot that he was 2 hours ahead of me. So when he said 8:30, he meant 6:30, and I took it as literally 8:30. So you probably see we went from 6 to 8:30 to 7, but you guys were still here.
Yeah, so you still found a way to make it.
You guys are the MVP of the show tonight. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Have a wonderful night, and we are out of here.